Yeah.
I'm joined by the one and only Joel Cordina, the Welsh wizard. Is that an all right accent?
Do it again.
No, I'm not going to do it again. It's all about you today.
Okay.
You're in Birmingham.
Birmingham.
You're here
Birmingham.
supporting.
Shabazz.
Yeah. Come on, talk to me about that fight. I think it's a must-win fight, but you know what? Your words,
Do
you know what it is.
Do you know what? I like the two of them. I like Liam Davis. I like obviously Shabazz in the same gym, and he's my cup of tea. Do you understand? He's a pal of mine, so I've got to support him. But it's a very good matchup, and yeah, I think he's going to set on fire that fight. So I'm looking forward to it.
Headlines, something that you're no stranger to, you know, a former world champion yourself, but more importantly, I know you're here to support Shabazz, and of course you're here to do that, but what have you been up to? Because it's like you've changed trainers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a bit of a journey for yourself.
It's
from
been,
Kakachi to now.
I think maybe a couple of fights too late in a moving up weight. The change in trainers is nothing to do with Tony whatsoever. Me and Tony got a great relationship, and we separated. We had a conversation, and we would listen. We parted on great terms. So I was happy that it went the way it did. So yeah, but I think I needed a change. I think I was stuck in a rut in a sense of it was just too much of the same thing, and I need that little bit of change. So which is it's not a problem, but maybe this side of my career, it might be, because people are going to try and sort of change what I'm doing and stuff, and I think I'm too long in the tooth for that sort of thing. But listen, all I need is that little bit of tweaking. Nothing changed, and the trainers that I've gone with, Barry Smith, you got Ben Davison in the gym, Lee Wiley in the gym, and they're adding to me, and they're not trying to change my whole style. I've become a 2-time world champion doing what I'm doing, so yeah, they're just tweaking certain things, and I'm happy where I am at the minute. But at the minute, I've obviously I had the fight with Shakur, that fell through injury. Can't do nothing about it. We were trying to reschedule something, whether it was on the November 16th card in Riyadh or the December one, but it looks like both cards are full, so it's looking like maybe the new year now. So I'm just bopping and weaving at the minute, and just keeping myself in the gym training and ticking over. I can't be doing. I found myself training as if I was in a fight, and then I got to I had a couple of days where I thought I can't do this no more. I got to pull this back. So I had a couple of days off and refresh myself, and and pick back up. And I just do one a day at the minute, and having a day off here and there. I'm just ticking over.
Joel, when you sit down and you have that serious conversation with yourself, because you're an experienced fighter, like you said, 2-time world champion, how hard is it to have that conversation with yourself to say, you know what, okay, I've got to think about my career now. I've got to make a decision. I don't feel like I'm getting any better, but I still have that hunger to be a champion again. How hard is it to have that conversation, to make a change, especially when you get used to your team, don't you? You know where you're going. It's almost like
everything.
It's almost like your family, and then it's like really having that hard conversation to say, I've got to really think about myself, what's good for me.
100%. Like Tony, I look at him as family, and I live with Tony, so it's close. Do you understand? And I look at him as family. But you only get, like you said earlier, you only get one career, and it's not a long career. And once you retire, you get a long time retired. So it's one of them things. You gotta, like we said, we gotta ask ourselves a few questions and make sure we're doing the right thing. And I believe it was the right thing for me to move on. I need that change, because doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, it gets monotonous, and it's one of them things. And becoming stale is the worst thing for a boxer, and I believe that's what I was becoming. Because even though I was winning, doing the same things, when I had that little bump in the road, then I sat back and I analysed everything around me, my team, the people behind the scenes, how I was training, how I was making weight, and I analysed everything. and there was a lot that needed to be changed. But yeah, it had to be done. I got a few years left. I'd say 3 to 4 fights left, and that's what I want to do. It's not because what I know I got a lot longer in the game, but I only wanted 3 or 4 fights because I don't want to be one of them fighters that boxing retires me. I want to retire from boxing.
And I was about to
yeah.
say how having that mindset. I mean, look, we only have to look at Mike Tyson going in to fight Jake Paul. Listen, just to say that it's an addictive sport.
100%.
Once a fighter, always a fighter.
Yeah.
And is it going to get to the point when you're sat at home, you're, I don't know, mid-40s and think, you know what, I could have another crack at this. It's like, it's like finding that balance again. You don't want boxing to retire you. You want to make that choice. But then you've got to feel like really fulfilled. You've got to do that 3 times. What is it that you want to achieve before you say, all right, see you later, boxing, it's been great?
Well, listen, when I started boxing, I only set out to go to the Olympic Games.
Wow.
And I've done it. And then not only that, after that, I was going to turn pro after the Commonwealth Games because I thought, I'll get a few quid. But then when I sat on the ring, Rob McCracken, when you ain't going to make no money if you just go, you're meant to go to Commonwealth Games. You're meant to win it. You're meant to do this. You're meant to do that. Going to an Olympic Games will give you the money, give you the sign-on fee, give you this, give you that. So I thought, okay, I stopped going out, partying, I stopped doing everything, I've stopped hanging out with my mates, and I was grafting. Like, I put my foot to the floor. And I even almost missed the birth of my first child through trying to make the Olympic Games. And I dedicated myself for a couple of months, day in, day out, done everything to the letter T. And first attempt on, I went to European Championships, won the Europeans, and won a 5 or won a 6 to ever do it from Britain. And then it was sort of, I'm here. I've got to the Olympics where I've wanted to be, and I've wanted to achieve, and I've done that. And then after that, it was like, what's next? So I have to set new goals, and I wasn't interested in the Commonwealth. I wasn't interested in the British or any international belts along the way. I just wanted a world title, and all I kept saying to Eddie Hearn, Frank Smith, and Tony, my trainer, get me a world title shot. Even after about 9 fights, I was saying, just get me a world title shot, and then you just leave the rest to me. And when that time came, when he said, oh, you could fight for a world title, I said, don't worry, leave it to me. And I went out and done exactly what I would say I'd do. So not only once, I've done it twice. So I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve in a sport, but I still got that hunger of winning world titles. I want to be involved in massive fights, and that's another thing I wanted to be involved in. When you see the likes of Ricky Hatton, Joe Calzaghe, Carl Froch, you had the likes of Amir Khan, and the funny thing was I was on the phone to Amir Khan the other day, and we didn't talk much about boxing. He just asked me when I was fighting, but the likes of what they done, their name up in lights. They're involved in massive fights. They're the fights that I wanted to be involved in. And I haven't done that yet. So, like, I've won world titles. I've been involved in great fights. But I want to be involved in a Shakur Stevenson. And as soon as he called me out when I won my first world title, I've always wanted to fight him. Because you can't call my name out, like, call me out, and then, like, especially you're, as how can I say, status-wise, he's above me. So he's calling me out. No problem. I'll entertain it. So I want to fight you now. Like, I'm calling you out now. Do you understand? But obviously it's fell through the first time, fell through the second time. It's got to happen at some point.
Do you think it will happen?
It can.
Like next? Do you think that's going to?
It might not. Next? It might not because of Zepeda. But it's whether he wants to do it. Because if he wants to do it, I'm sure we can get it done. Eddie, I'm sure, can get it done. The Saudis, I'm sure, can get it done. So it's whether they all want to do it. So yeah, but I need to be involved in a massive fight, and he's someone that's got a big name in boxing, and that could fulfill my appetite.
I was about to say that Saudi experience. Fair enough, I know it didn't go your way, but that is the glitz, that is the glamour, that is the big lights, that's the big fight nights. Reflecting on that performance, the whole week, What would you say that was your biggest lesson that week, apart from being weight trained,
yeah.
which you mentioned?
My biggest lesson, and it's not involved in that week, is taking things into my own hands, in a sense of I shouldn't have boxed at that weight
All right.
for that fight. I shouldn't have. I wanted to move up before it. And what it was tempting me with, the difference in you fighting with the title and without a title, it could be a 400k. So then it's tempting me
you
now,
weighing
and I'm
it up
like,
now.
okay, what I should have said is no, I want to be at my best, and this is where I should have been. Because, to be honest, I could have still had a big fight in that thing. Moving up as a world champion, I still could have been involved in a big fight, and still make money. So, yeah, I should have took it into my own hands rather than letting people try and talk me around to doing things. And yeah, I think that was my biggest lesson.
But
I should have had a lot of people closer to me involved in my boxing.
And that's what I was saying. How easy is it for that to happen? Where, like you said, people can get in your ear and say, "Look, mate, 400k. Do you really want to
Yeah.
turn that down? Just stay at the weight.
Yeah.
You can do this.
Yeah.
You know you're elite. You're a good fighter." And then somebody says, "You know what? You're not your best at
Yeah.
this weight. It will come. Take the risk. Maybe go for a lower payday, and you'll make it up when you collect at a
course.
higher weight." It's one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. There's, like I was saying, me fighting at that weight. And I said to you before we got on the camera, I was walking around like a smackhead. It was that's what I was like, and I didn't. There were maybe a day or two before the fights. It was like I just wanted to fall over every 2 minutes, and it's like, okay, is this what it's all about? And I was thinking I can't do this no more, and that's why I just hated boxing. But after a couple of days after, when I filled my boots and whatever, I love the sport. I love the sport now. Do you get me? I'm sat out there and I can't wait to get in the ring. But it's when you're making a weight, and it's the worst part of boxing, making weight. But how I was making it and the weight I had to get to, I'm 33. My metabolism ain't the same as when I was 25, 26. So yeah, it's tough. And like I said, the biggest lesson for me was listening to other people around me, and I should have had the closest people to me in life with me on my journey, and I never, and because they want my best interest. So yeah, it's my thing is they want my best interest, and they want nothing from me. So I think that's
Speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Of course. And because they when the shit hits a fan, they're the only people out of there. Do you understand? I haven't had a phone. There's certain people I haven't had a phone call off since. So, and they're involved in my boxing. So it is what it is, isn't it?
It can make you quite bitter and resentful, can't it? And I often hear fighters say, "I fell out of love with boxing," and it's seldom that we get fighters that are open and honest because they're scared of potential repercussions of them being open and honest. Or maybe I won't get a fight, or maybe somebody will get pissed off with that. But I think, as an experienced fighters, as we've got a lot of young fighters coming through, I think these are the type of conversations that need to be had with them, because they need to understand that at the end of the day, it's a business. You're a commodity, and
100%.
what comes before you is making money.
100%.
You've got to be profitable, and sometimes that will go against kind of like
no 100
you.
100%. And I've come to heads with a few people in boxing, and it's not because I'm awkward or I'm going against the grain. It's because I'm straight, and I don't like people taking the piss out of me. And I come from a council estate where people try and take the piss out of you on a daily basis. Do you understand? And they can't do that with me because I'm very streetwise. Not only that, I've learned the business of boxing along the way because of certain things have happened. So I'm very knowledgeable in that sense now. So moving forwards, people can't do certain things to me. So
You're more like bulletproof, as in you've got that
100%.
armor around you now.
And I know what you're trying to do. So, and this ain't directed to anyone individually.
It's business.
It's just
It's the business.
it's the business. And when you said about hating the sport of boxing, I hate the business side of boxing. It's the worst I've ever seen. Worst. But I love the sport. I love the people in and around it. Like my good friend Lee, I speak to him on a daily basis. And there's a lot more people in boxing that I love to bits. Because they've been on my journey with me. Do you understand? Because I see him every week, or I speak to him every other day or every day. So yeah, but the business side of boxing is the worst I've ever seen.
That is
Ever.
cold.
Ever.
But I like to end on a positive. You haven't got a fight set up
No.
yet.
No.
However, you are stronger,
Yeah.
coming in better, healthier. Mind is a
Yeah.
lot clearer. Joel Cordina, I'm going to say 3.0 because this is what you're going for.
Come
What
on.
can we expect from you this time round?
Do you know what? Do you know the fights like when I had it against Rakimov, and even
I
even
love
then
that.
it was a struggle to make weight. But this time I'm gonna be like that, but upgraded version. I'm adding to my basket of tools that I'm learning from Barry, Ben, Lee Wiley. They're just tweaking me slightly, and I think I'm gonna be a different animal in there.
We love
Strong, and I can't wait to get back in the ring.
And we're looking forward to seeing you back
Yeah.
in the ring. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've taken up a lot of your time, actually, 16 minutes. Listen, go and enjoy the boxing.
Yeah.
And I look forward to getting some fight news from you soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We're going to be positive.
Yeah.
All the best, Joel.
Thank you.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.